Uno, dos, tres.
Let's do it.
All right. Yeah. Come on.
Do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that's it. Uno, dos, tres.
Let's do it.
All right. Yeah. Come on.
Do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
So let me tell you a little something that's special going on here in Indianapolis, Indiana. So there's been a little basketball team that's been playing pretty well that just plays about 10 miles from where I'm standing right now. The other night they were playing against a team in that armpit of America called Cleveland, and they were going and not having the greatest game. They had won game one in their tournament, and the game two, they weren't playing very well. They were down 20 points, and they thought thing might be over. But don't worry, because we have a team in the Indiana Pacers that never give up, that never fight, and that overcome all kinds of obstacles. And suddenly, with just moments to go, they were down only 2 points. And Tyrese Halliburton, our star, was standing at the free throw line looking down a free throw. He didn't think, hey, I need to make this free throw. He thought, I want to win this game. I need to hit a three-pointer. He shoots that free throw. It bounced off the front of the rim. It's tapped by Miles Turner. Tyrese Halliburton grabs it, rolls it out dribbling outside the three-point line. He takes a couple dribbles his guy directly into the lane, then pops a big step back outside that three-point, puts up that shot, puts the shot down, and suddenly the Pacers are up 2-0 against those team from the armpit of America. Yes, Jordan Maddock, if you're watching this, that is what I called it. And we are here on POS Uncensored to talk about winning people, and people have winning mentalities. And we brought a Georgia peach, a person who was born and raised, who's currently not in Georgia, but in the state of Nevada, to tell us about the winning mentality of the POS pros. And Matt Proctor, I can't get more excited than I am about the Indiana Pacers and about the POS pros Asia that we're bringing on today. How are you, Matt? How is life on the other side of Indianapolis?
I'm great, brother. Oh, welcome, PPT Nation. And you know what? You said it perfectly. Okay? You might have to take Reggie Miller's job as announcing some of these games. So 8 points in the final 48 seconds. It was ridiculous. I woke up everyone in my house by screaming. And yes, we're going to try to convert Asia to a Pacers fan eventually. She's not big on basketball. That was exciting. It's that winning mentality, like you said, Nate. And that's what we want to talk about today. And we are very excited to have our own Georgia Peach in the house, Asia Murillo. Hi, Asia. How's the weather out in Vegas right now? Huh?
It's better. It's better than it's been in like the last few days. I want to say like Saturday, starting on Saturday, it started raining and then it was like nonstop after that. And there was like flash flood warnings and all of this stuff. But it's
Dang.
actually nice now. Like I can fly safely today.
I saw. I always see those when it rains in Vegas. The flooding that goes on in those parking garages under, like, I think it's the Link and stuff. I always see the videos hit my
Yeah.
like Instagram feed, and I'm like, I am glad. And this last time, I actually sent it to our Josh Brown and Jason Lee Cook because, and Paul Kent, because we had literally been standing in that parking garage when we were out there just a couple weeks ago for ETA, and I got video that was of this like flood just coming through because
Yeah.
Vegas
Yeah, they've
doesn't
got
know
no
how to handle
drainage.
rain. Yeah.
And they have like this tunnel set up where the drainage is supposed to go. It's this huge tunnel. And it's sad because there's like a lot of people that live in that tunnel.
Oh
But I
yeah.
mean, it's for the water. So, I mean, you can't be mad at
Yeah, it's their fault for being in the water's way.
that.
Uh, well, okay, so let's get off that subject. We also have, this is Thursday, May 8th. We just saw white smoke over in the Vatican City. There's a new pope who's an American for the first time. Even if you, it's an interesting world that we live in. I would have never guessed that. But we're excited today to talk about, I think, the most recent addition to the POS Pros teams. I think I'm right,
The
right?
most recent, it has been over a year and a half. We're
Yes.
actually
So
getting close to 2 years, but
yes.
yes, still, it's hard to say newest,
Yeah.
because it's been getting close to
Yeah.
2 years. But
Well, I chose my words very eloquently. I just want to make sure everybody noticed that. But Asia, tell us a little bit. We had introduced you as a Georgia peach, that you're from Georgia, and
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about you, just the quick elevator pitch, and how you got to the POS Pros team.
Okay,
hey,
so a little bit about myself outside of being a Georgia peach who's not in Georgia right now. Um, I don't know what to say about myself. I think I'm pretty cool. I think I'm decent enough to get along with. But I do have a passion for working with people and helping people specifically. So, what kind of brought me on to the POS Pros was number one, Matt. Thank you, Matt. But number two, I came from a background of many different things. I was a teacher. I've worked as an executive assistant. I currently work as an executive assistant for the city council women in my county in Georgia. So with me coming on to the POS Pros, it was kind of a change and something different than what I would normally do. But I think with me going on 2 years, I've just learned a lot about point of sales in general. I have worked in a fast food restaurant, so I knew a bit about point of sales coming onto the team. But there's just so much to learn and still so much that I'm learning and I'm doing it every day. So it's been nice. But Matt is really the one who brought me here. I mean, I applied, but he brought me on.
Yep.
hold
But
on, was that fast food place a Bojangles? Because you are Southern,
So,
Southern girl.
no,
No?
no. Well, actually, I did work at Bojangles, but that was for like 3 days. I worked at another one. Yeah, Bojangles was too much for me, but I
Okay.
yeah,
worked
all right. Well,
Dunkin'
go
Donuts.
ahead. So tell us what your knowledge of. So you've worked a little bit prior to this, and obviously, the most important thing of being a POS pros is being a people person and being a learner. But you
Hmm.
had a little bit of knowledge, you said, of POS. What was that? When you joined this team and somebody had asked you right when you started, what is a point of sale? What are your thoughts about point of sale? What are your experiences with point of sale? What would you have answered there?
So at the time when I asked that question, I knew that a point of sale was, the machine that we all use anywhere we go, any store we walk into, we're making a payment, or, if you're working, you're taking those payments. So I was very aware of the machine and what the machine did for you as a customer. But as for kind of more in depth behind a point of sale, I knew that each system was different because I have worked retail. Um, I worked at a mall before, and then I've also done obviously quick service. So I knew that models of point of sales were a bit different. And I knew that depending on where you worked or what you did, each, location required something different or needed something different from the point of sale. So I just knew a bit about that and, the different models. I wasn't aware of how many companies sold point of sale systems. I'm used to, the regular Square and Toast and, our competitors, but as for the companies that we currently work with, had no idea about them. So that was kind of new to me and different and
Well,
interesting.
and Nate, yeah, as a fun fact here, Nate, and I don't know if you knew this, Asia did not apply to be a POS pro, to be one of the POS specialists. And so I don't know if I ever told you that, Nate.
Yeah.
She
I
actually
was trying to
applied
see myself saying that.
Yeah.
at the time. Yeah, well, no, it's fun to say because there's a
It
reason why you're in
is.
the position you are now. So she
Yeah.
applied. We were looking for just kind of more of an administrative role, something to do. And she interviewed really well, really liked her. And then we happened to have someone interviewed just after Asia that we also liked. And so I spoke with Asia many times during this process. And I said, the way you speak to people, the way you handle yourself, quickly you pick up things. I think you'd be better actually as a POS specialist. It's going to take a little longer. We're going to go through some more training. Our whole team is going to help you collectively, but I think this could benefit you much more than just being in an administrative role. So that's why we really pivoted and changed, and she's learned a lot throughout the last 2 years. But coming in, Nate, it was a lot to take in because we were putting a lot on her plate. But she started working with our reps right away, getting more comfortable, getting talking to them, getting comfortable with our competition, and yeah, it's been great ever since.
And honestly, the learning about the point of sale systems, again, that's something you're learning things every day. I mean, we still ask questions till this day, and some of my colleagues who have been here for longer than I have, we still ask questions every day because point of sales are just so in depth. But I think the biggest challenge for me, well, not the biggest challenge, but I think one thing that I've learned more coming into this position was I've learned more patience. Um, I've learned, different. I think I've always been strong with communication, but learning different forms and different ways of communicating because you're dealing with so many different people that sometimes you kind of have to pivot certain conversations or not speak a different way, but just how you communicate with certain people, it's going to be different. So I think that was a really good learning point within this position. Um, so yeah.
It's a very nice way of saying, yeah, some of our agents can be challenging. It's a very nice way to paint that around. Everyone's a little different.
Yep.
Everyone's
Nate,
different.
you know that better than
Yeah.
anybody.
Well, I'm sure Asia, it's somewhat surprising. We don't charge for the services of POS pros. We barely charge for the POS systems, and yet often our partners demand more and more. And like the expectations are very high, and you have to learn that and navigate that. And that's why it's more important in most sales, if not all sales, you have to have knowledge and you have to have expertise, but you got to have people experience, skills and be able to handle that. And that's why I think, so much of our POS pros are so successful is because that people handling is the most important piece. And you're dealing with hundreds of, or we deal with, and the POS pros did a subsection of that, of hundreds of partners that are unique, that handle their business at different personalities, and you got to learn how to navigate it. All right, so I'm going to take a change, and here's the question. This is me changing up. So I pulled up an article here on my phone from Food Network about the most iconic foods in Georgia. Okay, so
Ooh.
here's the question. It doesn't tell me how many there are on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it's like 16 iconic foods that they put on this list. Nope, 17, 18.
Well, and Nate, Asia has a very good palate because she also has some Filipino in her, and she's introduced me some dishes that I'm like, I don't know what you just said.
All right, so since you're born and raised, what do you think the Food Network, which is probably is gonna say, I'm gonna see if you can name a few of these. I'm intrigued. So what do you think are some? So some of these are foods and some of these are items. I don't know how to explain. Like, so I'll give you one. They say boiled peanuts. Peanuts is one. Which
Yes.
that is definitely one.
Boiled peanuts. Boiled peanuts for sure. I mean, anywhere you go, like when you're driving through Georgia, there's especially like south, there's billboards everywhere. Boiled peanuts here, boiled peanuts there. Like definitely peanuts. If I'm very, very honest, the number one thing that came to my mind when you said popular foods in Georgia, I can only think of lemon pepper chicken wings because for some reason,
Okay,
Okay.
that's the famous. Yes, I know where that's from. We're gonna, yeah. So, and chicken wings is on the list. They didn't list lemon pepper, but I do know where those are from. So,
let me tell you, yeah,
hey,
lemon pepper chicken wing. That was the first thing that's why I was
uh,
laughing because
that is awesome.
people are,
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
good for
they
that.
that that is awesome. The top thing on their list was boiled peanuts and pimento cheese, and and I thought it was in
Wouldn't boiled
Vidalia
peanuts just
onions.
take the salt away from it? Wouldn't they just be like mushy? Or are they still salted?
What, boiled peanuts?
Mm,
Yeah, because aren't they boiling with the shell on everything,
Oh,
right?
they're so salty
the
usually. Oh, yeah, they're
Yeah, they're still salty,
yeah.
but
Okay,
the
okay,
shell might be softer, but the peanut itself is still
okay.
salty.
Still salty.
Yeah,
It
I
it
don't eat
is
peanut.
it is Georgia cuisine, fried chicken, sweet tea. It's fat and
Collard greens,
sugar at an
Collard
extreme,
greens,
and then
cornbread.
incredible international foods. Thanks to Kai being down there, we've had some of the best Korean food that he's introduced us to
Chinese
down there,
food.
and
Yeah.
Chinese and Mandarin food. And now we need to, we need to cross over into other Asian cuisines there in Atlanta. And Atlanta's a great food town, I think, every time I'm there.
They
And
do.
then as you get outside of
Yeah.
Atlanta, um, man,
That's what I like, Nate. The outskirts of
yes,
Atlanta. I don't
yeah,
need
Exactly.
to be
If
right
you
downtown. I want to go to the boroughs. There's
yeah.
Yeah,
some great
it's
restaurants.
the hole in the walls are way better. Anything in Atlanta is it's good. Like they have good food, but they're extremely expensive. Number one, they want to add 20% to your bill all the time. They parking. Okay, let's talk about parking. Who wants to pay $20+ in parking to go pay $100+ to eat? Not doing it. The outskirts, though, yes, they do have really, really good food. The town that I live in, they have most of the Korean stores and the Korean restaurants. So we have a lot of Korean barbecue, a lot of Vietnamese as well.
Ramen
And we don't
houses.
have enough Filipino. Like, there's only three spots that I can think of off the top of my head. And the third one I just learned about last Friday. So,
Nice. Nate, there's actually an Indonesian restaurant that just opened down the street from the office. I was going to see if you wanted to check it out with me. It's not often we get, Indonesian cuisine.
I am always game for anything new, anything unique. I'm all for it. So, Asia, as you've gone into this, let's talk about specifically selling POS. What have been the surprises or the obstacles that you've had to overcome that, well, they were surprises. You weren't expecting them. One is obviously you weren't expecting to have partners that aren't always want it done 10 minutes ago when they tell you for the first time. That's a frustration.
Mhm.
right.
But what are some of the other surprises maybe when selling this? And what are some of the things that are, you've been able to overcome and learn how to actually get the sale done, even though these are obstacles? Are there any things that come to mind?
Yes. So I would say one of the things that came to a surprise was some of the relationships that I've obtained dealing with different merchants or agents. That was a surprise to me because, it's a lot of it is really just business, but I have met and come across some people who actually still keep in contact with me till this day, not even about their point of sale or nothing business like. It's kind of just like a hey, how are you doing? Or kind of just check in. So it's really nice because again, I do like to talk to people. So to be able to meet so many different people from so many different places all over the country is that was a surprise to me. I just wasn't expecting that, and I wasn't expecting to actually I guess I don't want to say friendships, but gain friendships out of, making a sale. Um, and I think one of the challenges that I've kind of overcome and I'm, learning how to deal with is really just the the agents. If I'm honest, this is raw and unfiltered, right? Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah,
Right,
it's yeah.
uncensored.
Okay, yeah, the agents. I would say not all of them, but you do have some that are just, they like what they do and they're very adamant about certain things. So I think just for me, it was just really standing my own ground and letting, certain agents know, like, I understand how you work, but understand that we're working together and it's not just the what you say goes. We also have a policy in place that we have to follow, that I have to follow on my end. So, let's work together to make things happen, to make these sales, and not work against each other. So, really just again, learning how to go through some of those struggles with some agents. I've gotten better with, and again, really just making sure I'm not taking out of my own character, because you do have some that
Test
are
you.
really, yeah, they're little testers. They're like, they're a little scantron, and I just, it is what it is.
Yep.
I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's go, Matt.
Nate, one quick thing. For those of you who watched last week, we had an amazing show where we were able to talk to Kyle Sloan, the owner and founder of GiveHub. And Asia's done probably more GiveHub demos than anyone else on the team. She's been kind of the expert with the GiveHub demo. So please, PPT Nation, don't forget, we have this great donation software. So get those leads put in. Asia does a phenomenal GiveHub demo. So sorry, Nate.
No, I love it. I love it. Well, it's all about partnership, and the biggest thing that a lot of times is so we emphasize that it's all about partnership at PayProTec. We're partnering with our vendors, we're partnering with our sales partners, and that we're working together. And it's not us working for you or you working for us. It's us working together, and that's a different mindset that a lot of times is a hard thing for our partners sometimes. But when they figure it out, our most successful partners, when they get that, it's such a great success story. I love
Yeah.
that Tina has asked a couple questions on, and so I'm going to bring these up, Asia. First, hi, Asia. Tina says, what have been a few of your successful comebacks on hesitant vendors or merchant follow-ups? So I think that's how have you been able to get to the sale with some of those merchants? And then she also asked, do you have a niche markets? That's my favorite word. Do you have to pronounce it niche or niche? But I'm assuming what she's asking is, do you have a specific vendors that are your, or not vendors, specific verticals that you help our partners sell into that are your favorite? They're just more fun for you. So how about those?
So as for the vendors, I would say I would have the most fun with restaurants, honestly, just because they're very, I guess, complex with their needs, or sometimes they're not very complex. Sometimes they're very basic and very simple. So being able to, help restaurants, and I'm a foodie, so I'm always down to help people who's making the food. I will come visit you. I have merchants who I'm like, when I come to Nevada, I'm gonna come see you. But yeah, helping, business and restaurants, making sure that, they have, what they need. And I think we have a great selection of point of sale systems for restaurants or for quick service restaurants. And then Nate, can you read me the other question she asked?
Yep. She says, do you have any, it was basically, have you come back? I think you basically answered it. Yeah. I think it was the two things were things you've overcome, comebacks with merchants, follow-ups. I think part of that is Tina's a new partner and is trying to figure out how do we, you get a lot of no's in this industry, and you're at the front
Right.
end. A lot of times, the first time you try with the merchant, I don't like that. I don't like this. I don't like that.
Right.
Are there things in your mind that you've had maybe stories of in the last almost 2 years now of success stories where you've overcome an obstacle that a merchant said, nah, I'm never going to do this. And you and the partner are able to work together to get them to do that. Are there any success stories that come to mind?
I would say
You're the
I'm
queen of follow-up. Sometimes it takes a lot of follow-up.
Yeah, it does. It does take a lot of follow-ups. Sometimes they're not answering the phone for you. Sometimes they might block you. I think I had a merchant block me the other day. I digress on that. But I would say, I mean, granted, a lot of the merchants I have dealt with were, very strong on if they want something or if they don't want something. I would say I've had a successful story with a merchant who they were hesitant on wanting to move forward with the point of sale just because they felt like a lot of things were sketchy. They felt, you know, things weren't, I guess, moving correctly for them. They felt that, we were scammers. And so they kind of had cold feet about wanting to move forward. And so I think with me being able to, it was one thing with them, speaking with their agent, but it was another thing with me being able to kind of talk them through the process. I think a lot of the time agents are really good with making things sound better than they are. And so one thing I'm going to do is clear the air for you and let you know realistically, this is what's going to happen. So I think me being able to bring her additional comfort to making that decision, and kind of just reiterating, like, we're not here to hurt you, harm you, or scam you. If this is something that you want to do, we're all for it. I'm here to help you. I have a team that's here to help you. And if it's not something that you want to do, then completely understandable. But just being able to provide that comfort, eventually we did get her across the line. She was able to sign on with Corona, and so far I haven't heard any complaints about the system. So I just, again, reassurance for me, because I'm big on communication. So reassurance and really just being raw and realistic. I'm big on integrity. I'm never one that's going to feed you lies or, again, make things sound prettier than what it is. I want people to be able to feel comfortable and know the truth in making a decision, because it's a big decision. You're investing money, you're investing time, and it's not only one person. You're having other people that you have to deal with and train. I'm not going to waste anybody's time either. So I think just having that, kind of being empathetic with merchants, really help kind of get them over the sales line.
Love that. I love that word empathetic, because that's such a key word of, like, we need to know what everybody's feeling in the
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
And that's for our partners, and that's for the merchants. And if they're a restaurant owner or they're running a retail, and starting to learn and put ourselves in their shoes. And to Tina, who she, one of her comments was, and it just made me think I had to do this. So she said she was from Richmond, Virginia, and it just took me back, because I lived my first grade year. My dad it was a college professor. He took a sabbatical and did some studying in Richmond, Virginia. I grew up born in Michigan, mostly lived in Indiana. I lived my first grade year. I went to Mayberry Elementary there in, I think it's northwest. It's right off of Patterson, I believe, if my memory serves. So So as soon as you said that, and then I started thinking of all the cool food that I learned, because I lived most of my life at that point in Indiana, and I learned, and all the new experiences, I just had to say that. So sorry when Tina, she said, put my empathy. I love coming back to Richmond. I took my kids there a couple of years ago and took them to the
Way
condo
to go,
that we lived
Tina.
in
Now
there.
you got them going off site here.
Going all directions. But my point on that is, it's somewhat of the empathy, is putting yourself in the other person's shoes. And that's part of the hard thing that we have to do in payments. Is we have a lot of our partners that sell in all 50 states and sell on call centers. We have a lot of people that only sell in a certain location, and every person, they shake the hand and have a personal touch in person with every merchant they're working with. We have so many different types of partners, and then we have so many different types of merchants. And that's why we have multiple POS pros, because they're here to help you and help work alongside you and work with that. Matt, any questions you want to ask? I have a couple more that I think I want to ask.
I think she's being a little modest, Nate, personally. But
Right.
I mean, AZ, you just closed like 2 days ago a retail cloud account. And how did you close? I think you negotiated back and forth on splitting up the upfront payment, a couple of times. And you do that a lot. And I think you're being modest here. So you help not only make them feel comfortable, But
Yeah.
do you feel that that's something that you say, yes, we can overcome because you try to help in any little way, even if that's coming to me and saying, Matt, can we leverage a little more for credit?
Yeah.
Would you say
Yeah.
that's okay?
I can say there's like some behind the scenes work, like, as Matt mentioned, that I will do. I think I mentioned that specifically because I guess that's where I'm most comfortable, if that makes sense. Like, I know that that's a good ground I have is, again, being able to talk to people, and Nate's favorite word, being able to be empathetic with them and just really understand and feel that. And a lot of the times I kind of look at it as like, at the end of the day, I have a job to do, but I also I'm a people pleaser. So ultimately my job is to also satisfy you as a customer. And I think with, just behind the scene works that I do, and reaching out a hand and asking Matt, hey, can we do this or can we do that for this merchant? I think that helps as well. Yes, to answer your question, Matt.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
So I know that you mentioned in our pre-talk that you're a San Francisco 49ers fan. As you've gotten, you said you didn't know how many different places. Is there a favorite like place that you've set up with a POS in a location or something like, man, I can't wait to go visit that? Is it because you're not just a Georgia peach, you
Ooh,
like to go other
good
places?
question.
Is there a merchant that you can't would really like to visit someday? You don't have to name by name if you don't want to, but
Yeah.
location and a type of merchant.
Yes. So she is currently in California. She actually lived in Atlanta. She actually lived maybe 20 minutes from my house. She still has her 770 number, but yes, she's based in California. I sold her Corona, and she has a boutique. And she actually had a second location in Atlanta. So when I got the lead for her, I was like, wow, this name sounds really familiar. Um, I feel aware of this. But after, speaking with her, and she's one of the ladies that I still speak with, till this day. But I would love to go visit her in California because, number one, I love California. I absolutely love California. But number two, the things that she sells in her store, because she just has a cute boutique and she sells just different little knickknacks and stuff. And I like little knickknacks. I don't know what I do with them. They kind of just end up in different places, but I like that. But and then her spirit too. She just has a really great spirit. She's really, really funny. She's almost like a family member. So I would really want to go see her in her shop and go to California, of course.
There you go.
Now, to piggyback off that, Asia, would you feel pressure because you know her, you love her, you guys get along great? Would you feel pressure you need to buy some things if you went to visit her to like give
No,
back to her shop?
no. I
No,
buy her. I mean, I know I would probably buy something from her shop, but the pressure, no,
a
because I'm not going to
supporter.
do anything that I don't want to do. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but I
But
know
like
that.
I'm going to visit some of our restaurant merchants that I personally have sold years ago in this next month. And I almost feel like I need to go eat lunch. I want to see how their food is. You know what I mean? I want to see how they operate. I want to see how they use their
Yeah,
mint and they're quick. Um, and I guess you're right. It's not pressure like I need to spend money, but I want
right.
to support them, as a
Yeah, like
local business. So.
ultimately I know that I would want to. So I know I'm never gonna go somewhere where I know I'm gonna be like, do I want to spend my money here? So it's like naturally I would go and spend money, but I would never feel pressure because if you don't have anything that I like, I'm not going to waste my money. But I'll buy you lunch, I'll buy you breakfast, we
There
can
you
hang
go.
out. But yeah, no pressure.
All right. So my last question, Asia, is, and then Matt, whatever he has left, you've been doing this for coming up on 2 years. Are there features or advances? You've seen several that have in just your 2 years that have come that are the things that you're like, man, this is really something our partners should pay attention to because it's a cool feature. Maybe it's a full POS system we've added. What are some things that you think our partners should pay attention to because they're cool and they're helpful? Are there any things that come to mind?
Honestly, I would. That's a good question. That's a question I would probably have to think on because there's nothing that comes to mind right away. When you ask that, there are features that I think of that we could have because I'm asked about them a lot. That I noticed a lot of agents pay attention to now. Um, so
Well, here,
I
Asia,
a good
I have
question, but
kind
I'll
of a,
think about it.
I have kind of a similar question, Asia, but it's a little different. If you could tell our partners what, out of all the systems that we offer for restaurant, retail, salons, donation, give us your top three that you personally just like the best. You think they're the best for our merchants, whether it's a restaurant, retail. What would you say are your top three point of sale systems? If let's say Tina, reached out to you in an hour and she asked you this question.
Of course, I would say number one, quick. Okay, I would say number one, quick. Number two, I would say, uh, I would. Oh, that's hard, just because they're all different and unique in their own ways. And
Well, I forgot to mention, tell us the top three and why. So why quicks for someone like Tina who has no clue? She's like, "What the heck is a quick?" Yeah.
so quick with a K. I would say they're number one for me just because of I guess how diverse the system is. They are very, very great for restaurant, whether it's full service or quick service, but they're also expanding and, opening up their horizons to salons. And I know that there's some functionality on the retail side that, may not be as useful. Like it's not something if I get a merchant in their retail, I'm not gonna say Quick, but Quick has some of those capabilities. So just the diversity that the system has within itself, I think is pretty unique with Quick. Also, their customer service is really great, which I think is very unique. You don't always find great customer service, so that's why I would put them at number one. At number two, I would have to say, gosh, I feel like I'm like putting these point of sale providers up against each other and
That's
just
okay. Don't worry. All the
Hey,
POS providers are watching, so they'll all
yeah.
know what you say is.
Well, and all of them know that I always pin them against each other, and I want to have a great partnership. But hey, competition makes us all better. So you're good.
Right.
Just hey,
yes.
if you choose them now, you reserve the right to change when one gets better and jumps up in the top three. So
That's
Yeah.
true.
I would say number two, I would put at with man, this is hard. Why do you guys do me like that?
hey, this
Good
is POS
God.
Uncensored. We ask hard questions, and this is Matt's questions, not mine. It's his fault.
You're right. I'm thinking in the mindset of trying to please others, but I can't do that. I have to be honest. So number two, I would
Yes.
say for me, um, Corona.
Okay.
Um, they and maybe they may not be so great with retail stores like any like clothing stores, just because they don't offer any variants. But if you're doing barcode scanning, great. Corona got that for you. But also, what I like about Corona is I like their monthly and how dirt cheap it is, or how dirt cheap it can be. I also like, if you're working with a specific software, Windows to be exact, you're able to use your current system with Corona. And I think that's really great because, we come across a lot of merchants who want to do that, who would prefer to use their system and then just integrate into this, or they don't want to have to buy a whole bunch of hardware. So I think it's really great when I come across merchants who are currently using a Windows, and what they need, Corona can do pretty much everything for them. So I'm like, okay, great, boom, you have a system. Here's $350 for an 835, and boom, we're sold. But I think Corona also has some good support as well. The demos are great when we take a look at them. So I would place them at number two. Number three, Hmm, that's tricky.
See,
I
that's
don't
why
know
I
who
said
else
that.
they set number three.
Because you've sold Paradise, you've sold Mint, you've sold Retail
I have.
Cloud,
I
GiveUp,
would
Growzilla.
I would put Paradise at number three only because with the Paradise systems I have sold, to my knowledge, I haven't gotten any complaints so far.
Nope.
I haven't. No merchants have come back and said anything about the system. They might have said like, oh, the iPad, it might be too small. But outside of that, I haven't gotten any real complaints with merchants who have switched over to Paradise. So for that, I'll put them at number three because they've done good by me so far.
Like it.
And what's interesting, yeah, Nate, those three, as she just said, arguably those three might have the best support of all of our systems. I mean, every system has support, whether it's good or bad or lacking, or they have tons of people, everyone does it a little differently. But I would say
Mhm.
those three would be three of our best. So thank you, Asia. See, that wasn't so hard.
That it is not. So I mean,
And she
and
rolls
then
her eyes at me like, dang it, Matt.
No, you guys put me in a hot seat for a second. I'm like, geez. I mean, I think all of our systems are great overall. Again, they're all unique. They all have their own thing going on. They all have their different support. They all have their own uniqueness. So, I would rank them, I could rank them probably by category. Like, who would you say is best for restaurant? Who would you say is best for retail? Who would you say is best for salons? I could do that, but like
And
just
that's
all
good that agents know
together.
we have that many.
yep.
So
Yeah,
that's
we
good.
do. We do have a lot. I had to go in my head too and kind of scroll and like, okay, we have this one, we have this one, we have this one. They're all great though. Don't shy away from any of them, guys.
There you go. Well, what I love is that we have a diverse, we've now, I think, met all the POS pros over the last couple of months as we've done this and met several of the CEOs and founders of a bunch of our POS companies. And no matter who we've met with, our passion is always helping the partner close that deal. And we're doing it from such unique backgrounds. We have, and I just love that. And I love the team that you guys are building and how you're helping our partners, and hopefully how our partners are going to continue to learn to do that more. Matt, do you have closing words or closing questions or anything else? Or in Asia, you're welcome to have
I
any closing words as we finish up.
I do. I
All right.
do. If I can go. What Asia just said at the end there was just a perfect comment. Don't shy away from one particular system. All right. They're all good in their own way. And we've had agents in the past that they might have had a hiccup. They might have had one problem maybe years ago with hot sauce or with Mint or with Paradise, Retail Cloud, you name it. That doesn't mean that system hasn't pivoted, maybe has changed, increased their support, changed hardware. I mean, time changes everything. So just realize that we still have a lot of amazing softwares at our disposal, and they don't all just stay the same. Okay, so we want to make sure that you guys have that patience. Listen to the POS specialist because you might not realize that, oh, this is the right system where you're thinking because you only like one or two, but Asia will bring up four other examples that you might have forgotten all about. So don't shy away from any system, please.
Right. And know that the same system might not work for every single merchant that you work with. Because again, every single merchant is different. They have different needs. They may want the same features, but how they operate as a business, it might not be the same as others. So to kind of leave room open for options and not just sticking to one and staying comfortable. We don't want to stay comfortable when looking at point of sale systems. We want to be able, and that's why we have so many different options, because we want our merchants to have options. We don't want to just throw one thing at them and lessen our chances of helping them out because it's not something that's useful for them or will be great for them. So just keeping options open and just knowing that some things just won't work for others, whereas some things might.
Love it. All
Perfect.
right. And Tina, I would say, asked another question. I'll just answer that here quickly. Like a category POS list for all your merchants, I would say the first place I would go to find the different POSs for each of the verticals is to go over to mypapertech.com and click on that POS. You're going to see all the icons for the different POS systems we have. We're about to go to a total refresh and make sure we update all their all their information and things, but please do that. Also, a great resource is to go and this is on our YouTube channel where you're right now. Make sure you like and subscribe, but as a good YouTuber would say, but also you can go and find this playlist that's just POS Uncensored and go back and watch some of them and look at some of the different POS systems we talked about. And so this year we've talked, I think, about nearly all the POS systems we've been going through, and we've been meeting the POS pros. That's a great way to get started. Another great way to get started for those who are able to attend, and we've been highlighting, we'll talk about it probably for next week and maybe one more week after that, and then we'll be off for Memorial Day, and then we'll see everybody on June 4th for 10 to 2, our first in-person training. We're calling it Fuel, a training experience powered by PayProTec. The main key about this is we are getting I think it's going to be around 50 to 60 successful sales partners in the room with several of our vendors. Mr. Matt Proctor there on the right-hand side of your screen will be joining us there live in Orlando, Florida at the beautiful Marriott World Center. You can learn more and you can RSVP by going to join.payprotec.com. And you can also, if you have any questions, you can email me at nate@payprotec.com. If you have any questions of how that may go, we are looking forward to being at SCAA. We have our booth. We're right in front of the front door. Eventually next week I will have memorized. We got our booth number on Monday, and I haven't memorized it yet. Should have looked it up. But we are excited, and we'll be talking more about our theme in the next coming weeks as we are a sponsor at the SCAA conference, doing our own training there on June 4th, and then lots of our partners. We're all staying together. A lot of us. I think I have almost 30 of our partners staying together in the Marriott World Center, and we're excited to have you. We do have, we think we're sold out of our block of rooms, but the last one I asked for, I was able to get the room. So if you are needing a room, I may be able to help you, but certainly we would love to see you at the Marriott World Center, June 4th, 10 to 2 a.m. Can't wait to meet so many of you in person. It's going to be a great time. Asia,
You said 10 to 2 a.m.
Did I 10 to 2 p.m.?
Overnighter.
Sorry. I haven't slept much. Hey, Asia, and Asia's about to get on a flight. I'm worried for her. I'm worried she's going to be late. That Las Vegas airport can be a little hard to get in and out of there. So Asia, I'm so thankful you joined us today. You were awesome. Thank you for helping our partners. Thank you for putting up with our partners sometimes. Thank you for helping us close more deals, create more volume, and have more margin so that together our partners and merchants are all winning. That's our goal, and we're thankful that you're part of our team doing that. So thank you for joining us on POS Uncensored. Thank you, Matt Proctor. May the Pacers win Game 3 tomorrow night, so I don't feel like I judged them too much in my opening today. And for all those in Ohio, we'll help you too. All right. On behalf of Matt Proctor, Asia Murillo, I'm Nate Manahan. Thank you for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time.